Your camp so far, how would you describe how you've done so far? The numbers are good.
Yeah, I mean, I would just really say it's honestly just kind of what I've been doing all off season. Haven't been necessarily trying to murder the ball. I mean, I've been hitting the balls well, and obviously they've been carrying from whatever distance they need me to. But I've really just been literally just, especially with how many outdoor games we have coming up this season, really just trying to hit a consistent straight ball. Obviously it's pretty windy here too, and you guys saw the rain day that tried to make it hard on me. But yeah, I've really just tried to just consistently make kicks, good location, or good contact, and picking the right line, and it's been working out so far.
When you're like today, when you're inside, when you're kicking, is it just whether it's good or no good, or do you like today, most of them went sort of. It's right between. Like, are you only happy if it's right in the middle of practice? Like, how much leeway do you give yourself?
I mean, we're all perfectionists, and so I mean, you guys will be able to see now. There's a big support beam that goes right down the middle, and right above, up there, it's got the all the greats back there, But on the very top, there's like a little American flag, and it says Caesars Superdome, and it's kind of right up there, dead center, about as high as you can get onto the net, and that's really my aiming point every time. And so sometimes you might push one, pull one a little bit, and just given the hold or the snap, everything like that. But I mean, obviously the goal is to make it down the middle as high as possible as every single time. But that's kind of like my aiming point, I guess, in the indoor.
What's it like having 3 punters now in the room?
Yeah, that's new. That's something that kind of got a little bit of a switch up in the last couple of days. So I know Matt and James, I felt like we're doing a good job before that. But the guys upstairs, I trust everything that they see, and the way they're evaluating guys, know they had to work out. And so, it's whoever comes out on top of this is going to be a good punter. I have belief in, all 3. I believe Matt's always going to, I'm a believer in Matt. Matt was my guy last year. Matt is I'm the most comfortable with when it comes to the operation and holds and, everything along those lines. But, it is, we got 3 guys here. Only one can play at the end of camp. And, I'm excited to just, see how it plays out and do what I can to help all 3 of them.
Was today the first time with James as a holder in camp so far?
No, it's we've been going through even OTAs. It's usually I think the very first day Matt held for me, and then James held for Charlie the next day, and then me the next day, and then Matt came in. Matt held for, I guess that'd be Charlie and then me, and so it's kind of like flip flop. And they basically get back-to-back days. So we have been alternating, and being Kai's first day in practice today, we got some after practice, and they all put it down just a little differently. They all catch it a little differently, but as long as they're putting it on the spot, that's what matters. And I know Zach's gonna do a good job, getting the laces where they need to be.
Does alternating every day like that, doing it helps keep you? Is that maybe part of the consistency of it?
Yeah, I mean, they all kind of put it down just a tad differently. The good thing about what Phil and Kyle and Zach and just the operation, what we've been doing is they all kind of adjust to the way that I am, just like from the timing perspective. I don't get back there and give like a huge head nod or anything like that. I just kind of get back there and kind of get settled. And so basically when James got here, we just got him to understand that timing perspective of everything. And now Kai's here. And so they'll once they kind of learn the timing of everything with me, then it really kind of takes care of itself, because as soon as they turn, Zach's throwing it right where it needs to be. So it does make it, it's a different one, maybe not as comfortable with James and Kai yet as I am with Matt. Matt does a great job of holding. He did a phenomenal job all last year, and so that was nice, having that building throughout last season, and I think it showed throughout results throughout the season, and just continue to just build that comfort level with everybody this whole camp.
Blake, apologize for the extremely unscientific question here, but what have the vibes been like under Kellen Moore? Through, I think, 8 days of training camp, looks like a lot of fun today. Felt like the guys been feeling good. How do you feel?
Yeah, I kind of got asked this one earlier. The way, I guess, Kellen and, it's not, Kellen obviously is the head in the ship, but, the way Ted Rath in the strength department, the way he's built us up and then also kind of monitored, they're running tests, they're running numbers, he's like a mad scientist of like formula stuff. But I would say the vibes are about as high as I've seen, and it's in a very, like, everything is really just on like a positive trend around here. Guys are getting, I feel like the guys feel like they're getting taken care of at practice. And so they know, like, Ted, when it's a green day, it's time to go. I mean, it's like when you trust that those two are going to take care of you when it comes to like the schedule and just like the player loads and stuff. I mean, I'm obviously not going to be ever the one about complaining about player loads. I'm not out there running, but I think the guys know that, and they trust that when Ted and Kellen, like when it's a green day, then like let's go, and just trusting that they're going to take care of you on the back end is a big deal, and that leads to trust and, like you said, the vibes and everything. I mean, it's a lot, very high energy right now.
With all the numbers,
Can you? What is green day?
It's like basically the way they like break down the tempo of practice, and so like that's just the way they do it, and it's like a green, yellow, and red thing. So
with all the numbers that they like show you, is anything catch you by surprise? Like, wow, I didn't even know that they were tracking this.
Yeah, we do all kinds of stuff, whether it's hamstring strength or power numbers, all kinds of stuff. It's really cool just to not have to worry about it, I guess. You just know that they're monitoring it, and whether it's hamstring, like symmetry, and all kinds of stuff. It's really cool how they're able to dive in and break all of that down. So I just it allows me just to worry about making kicks. Know about my body's taken care of, and I'm doing everything I need to on my side of things, and then we're getting the work we need to with them, and so it just allows me to go out and worry about putting it through.
What do you do to mentally build up the mentality of being an NFL player?
Yeah, it's something you can't fake it. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, you have to get thrown out there, and you have to prove yourself. And that's kind of, I feel like, what is the deciding factor a lot of the times is it's hard to. I mean, you can go on a field and have your mom or have your coach, just have somebody watch you, and so. At the end of the day, you have to be thrown out there in a real deal game situation, and you have to execute, whether that's replicating practice, whether that's a preseason game, whether whatever it is. But I mean, honestly, what I try to do is, I stay around here year round. When I kick, whether it's a Tulane, whether it's here when we can, even as simple as just bringing somebody along, or just having an equipment guy, like Brandon's one of my equipment guys as the special teams, Brandon Gerdes, and like I'll literally just tell him, I'm like, hey, I don't need you to shag or nothing. I just need you to stand here, and like I just need to feel it. You know what I mean? Because you can kick on the field all day long, go 100%, go back to wherever, but until you want to kind of bridge that gap between by yourself on a field just kicking, and then like bullets flying, time to go. And so there's kind of like, I don't necessarily like have like a formula, like how I like break it down and ease into it, but some days I just like make myself, I just test myself. There was one day where there's like 300 Division I like weight room coaches in the indoor, and it was raining at Tulane, so I was like, I got a big crowd today, and so I was kind of like a little way I just test myself there.
Do you work with anybody on like mental training or anything like that?
I don't have like an active, I guess, like mental conditioning or that kind of stuff. I've been fortunate to have a lot of coaches, strength coaches throughout college that actually we dove into it pretty good then. Like Pat Ivey was, I believe he's like the head of strength conditioning at a administrative level, and I believe at Louisville still. And he was a professor in sports psych and that kind of stuff. And so, but he was my strength coach at Arkansas State for a couple years, and we from a team level, they would teach us some tools and some visualization tactics and how to kind of work through things. And so that was I feel like I got exposed to it, I guess, pretty early, and I've been able to kind of use that and kind of tweak it my own way and continue to implement those to this day.
With the new kickoff rule, does anything change about your process? Like, would you rather leave it at the 15 as opposed to?
No, we made the kickoff rule our competitive advantage last year. I think JT led the league in special teams tackles, was right up there. I think I had the lowest touchback percentage. And so, obviously Riz was a part of, creating that rule, and And so instead of just hitting it, into the end zone and giving it to them at the 30 and now the 35, we made it hard on ourselves last year, and we put it in play. We had a plan on where we were putting it, where we were getting down there and setting up our guys to make plays. And I want to say we might have had the I guess, shortest starting field position. So, I expect nothing other than to go out there and do the same exact thing this year and continue to make that kind of our competitive advantage. And, we've been doing a lot of good things on special teams here for a while. And, having Phil at the head of it now is awesome to see him, as a coordinator now and him running the show. But, I don't expect any sort of drop off at all for us to, in that department and across the board on all four.
And you feel like ball placement, like being able to put it exactly where you want to put it, is one of your strengths, right?
Yeah, for sure. I've always kind of prided myself on a ball striker, and so that was a little bit of an adjustment last year, getting used to the way we basically called it in, or the way we took the field and the way we were putting it. So and honestly, the way that we can kind of manipulate the ball in certain ways now. But the ball location is a huge part of it. You got your guys thinking we're going left, and you put it right. Obviously, it's not good. So having to basically put it as in the right spot, as close to that goal line as possible, and force the returner to make a decision, and put our guys in the best spot to get down there and make a play.
When you're kicking from 65 yards from the goal line, and you have a 5-yard zone that you're probably aiming for, I know there's a larger zone, but probably what you're aiming for. How do you go about kind of calibrating that? Is it like muscle memory thing every time?
It is, yeah. I would say, fortunately, I'm kind of in a unique spot where I feel like I don't necessarily have to swing hard or soft. Like if I make solid contact, that thing is going roughly 65, where there might be sometimes it might be at the 5, it might be at the 6, might be at the 1. I know in that 5 or 6 yard range, as long as I'm making good contact, I know that ball is flying, in that general area. So it's not, you do have to feel it out. Like it's a little tough sometimes out on the grass when you can't see the yard lines as good. But when you're in like today in the indoor, I couldn't necessarily tell how far they're landing, but I know they were all right down there, right around the goal line. And so when you see, like when you're on that game field, you got the stadium around you, get a feel kind of like for your bearings, and that's kind of how you gauge your distance and figure out that depth and that power it takes to get the ball where it needs to be.
Did the rain the other day feel kind of personal?
Yeah, I got a bone. Somebody's doing a rain dance somewhere out there. We've joked about this even back through OTAs. It's I always feel like when I'm up, the wind makes it rain. Like it only rained for maybe 3 or 4 minutes of entirety of that day, and it was right when I took the field. So we joke about it a bunch. I think today we were indoors and there might have been like a 2-mile-an-hour wind. So it just knows. I don't know who's out there putting the voodoo on me or something, but somebody out there knows when I'm up to outside either to throw the wind up or make it rain or something. But it's with our schedule this year. Like we could catch wind in Buffalo week 3, we could catch rain in Seattle week 4. So and I was kind of joking with Kellen, and the quarterbacks are kind of looking at me, just kind of get cracking a smile a little bit in the period as it was just blowing in. But those are just like anything else. We might get tested there in a game, and it's good to be able to practice it in this situation.